In this video, I'm going to show you how to perform the basic steps for every installation of an SL1100. I'll show you how to remove the covers from the KSU, install some of the most common cards, and restore all of the factory default data by performing a cold start. Let's look at three of the most common cards you will install on an SL1100. This card is a 4COIDB, which allows you to connect 4 analog phone lines to the SL1100. This is the connector that allows the card to communicate with the rest of the system. These are plastic spacers which you insert in these holes for placement and stability. And this is the mounting post and screw, which add two things: greater stability and a ground for the card. This card is an 8-port digital station card, which allows you to connect up to 8 additional digital telephones to the SL1100. A connector on the back of the card allows it to communicate with the rest of the system. The card comes with 2 plastic spacers for stability and 2 mounting posts and screws, which provide greater stability and a ground for the card. This card is a Voice over IP daughter board, which provides the Voice over IP connectivity for the SL1100. It comes with 4 plastic spacers, which you use to connect the Voice over IP daughter board to the processor. Before we can add any of these cards, we need to remove the covers on the system. To do that, you first verify that the SL1100 is turned off, then you disconnect the power cord. Next, locate the 3 points that stick up on the lower half of the front cover. Gently press down on these 3 points and slide the cover out. Then lift the cover and remove it. Next, locate the 2 screws that secure the top half of the cover to the KSU. After you loosen the screws, gently lift the front part of the cover and remove it from the KSU. Although I don't demonstrate it here, make sure you remove the appropriate tabs for the front of this cover so that you can access the cards you add to the system. With the covers removed, I'll first add the COIDB card. I have already installed the plastic spacers in the appropriate places, and now I'll add the mounting post in this spot. This is the bottom side of the COIDB card. I'm going to turn it over and secure the connectors. Then I'll push down and verify that the plastic spacers are secured. Last, I attach the screw so that the card is stable and has a ground. Now I'm going to install the 8-port digital telephone card. I have already installed the plastic spacers in the appropriate locations, and I will install the 2 mounting posts. Next, I orient the card so that the components are facing up and make sure that the connector on the bottom of the card is seated correctly. Then I push down on the card and verify that the plastic spacers are secured. Last, I attach the 2 screws so that the card is stable and has a ground. During this part of the video, I'm going to install the compact flash used for the in-mail voicemail. I turned the chassis so that you can see the installation a little better. The PZVM21 connector sits on the main processor, and you connect the in-mail compact flash card to it. To do that, you verify that the NEC sticker is facing you, then slide the compact flash card in and verify that it is secure. The last card I'm going to install for this video is the VoIP daughter board. To do that, I have to remove the processor. In order to do that, you need to gently squeeze the CPU support bracket to release it and then pivot it away from the KSU. After you do that, slide the processor out of the KSU. After removing the processor, you can install the VoIP daughter board. When I tilt the CPU up, you can see the connector for the daughter board. And when I tilt the VoIP daughter board, you can see the same connector plus the 4 plastic spacers already installed. To connect the VoIP daughter board, I line up the 2 connectors and gently press until the cards are securely connected. Once the CPU and VoIP daughter board are securely connected, I can replace them in the KSU. When you are ready to place the processor back in the KSU, find the guide slots for the CPU and slide it in until you make a secure connection to the motherboard. Then, replace the CPU support bracket and secure it in place also. Okay, now that all of the cards are installed, let's replace the top half of the cover. After doing that, I'm ready to perform a cold start of the system, which we recommend you do each time you install an SL1100. A cold start will restore all factory defaults, remove any database corruption, and allow the CPU to search for and recognize all of the cards installed in the system. As the processor finds each card, it assigns default programming, including the programming for the InMail. To perform a cold start, you need to reconnect the power cord to the system. Then you press and hold the load button on the processor as you apply power to the KSU. So that you can better see what is happening, I'm going to tilt the KSU toward the camera. Press the red load button and hold it while you apply power. Continue to hold it until you see the red light flashing on the other side of the processor. When the red light begins to flash, you can release the load button. The system will then go through the boot process, which takes about 2 to 3 minutes. When the boot process is complete, a digital phone connected to the system will display the time, date, and its extension number. That's how you install the most common cards in the SL1100 and perform a cold start so that all of the factory defaults are restored.